Hey, it's 22 March. This is an excerpt from a channeling by Sam the Illusionist, and this particular scene is an object that's run by the Orion constellation that's hovering over the Pentagon. So the Pentagon is the center of war from America, as we know, and its construction was completed on 9/11. So there's a relationship there, and what's occurred is there's soul swapping that happened already. Talk about senior leaders in selected positions, and recall the fact that General Milley is in direct communications with China, and they've assumed the primary illuminated swing box at this time, with the artificial sun being an example. So this is the same object from the Orion constellation positioned over the Kremlin. So you've got two significant, call them illuminated places. As we know, the Kremlin is the central of really the Soviet bloc of communism. And it goes way back to Stalin and Lenin and the origins on that side of the house. That's the Kremlin. So there is darkness that's tied to that, as well as the Pentagon from the Orions in Orion's belt. They're the Dracos, and they're tied to war, and high soul switching went on, and Putin is likely Stalin, and over on the United States side, at the general officer level, things occurred. Be advised that the government of Egypt just went through a major inflationary reaction with the prices of everything, and Mahmoud al-Sisi sits there as the deputy intel guy, and all the dark-sided Islamists have been released through Europe and straddle the U.S. border. And Kushner runs FEMA, and Trump read the snake poem for the third time. So, the walls are closing in. I'm going to pause this. So be aware that because those vessels are appearing before us, they are in violation, direct violation of the angelic rules of appearing as they do, because we're supposed to not be introduced to extraterrestrials in some kind of a whacked out, inconclusive, fear-based mode. So this is ongoing right now. That said, I would like to play Sam's first person recording. Again, this is the Galactic Federation speaking through him. He's in a meditative state, and his high self is very special to us because angels can work well through him. Notice he's got a lot of sacred things happening, so you have to evaluate for credibility. So just listen to what he's saying about these triangular objects.
Are the entities from the Orion constellation. These entities directly infringe upon the planetary orbiting sphere of consciousness, as the quarantine does not allow direct infringement upon the planetary sphere.
See, so there's a quarantine on Earth with ETs showing up because that violates our learning agreement. And these beings are now, because we're in the kind of the end times and they want to take their swing, they are introducing high self-awareness on the dark side to folks at the Pentagon and people in the Kremlin of lore, and it's beyond that. You can be assured these were two observations that were included in this presentation, the Kremlin and the Pentagon. The Pentagon is about war, and the Washington Monument, and I mentioned the Kremlin already as just the illuminated place of communism. Fabian communism, same. It's Masonic, and it's tied to your confusion, and you vote. So we're at this point right now of you being the elect and waking up.
However, there are certain flaps of consciousness stream of the quarantine which has been created for not allowing other entities to directly infringe upon the planetary sphere. In these gaps or windows or flaps of consciousness stream of protection around the planet, these UFOs, as noted by a people, which are consciousness driven by the Orion entities, appear above such places which are regarded as highly protected by a people. This is occurring as a sign from the Orion entities to the people of your human collective consciousness that the powers and the technology which your kind has mastered is in no way matched to the type of technology which is currently under the prowess of the Orion entities, who are masters also of technology. And these events which are in the mind space of this...
See, so you've got Nazis at the South Pole, and we know about the Foo Fighters and flying saucer technologies, and we've got CIA SR-71 looking vehicles that are like super jets, and those triangles that you just saw, think about a Stealth 1 bomber and the configuration that we have migrated to. But these apparitions are real from Draco land, appearing above these symbols of ours, because the Pentagon is war, and by them being above that, they're trying to tell us, hey, watch us. And the same thing with the Kremlin, but it's a high soul swap out, so it combines the handoff with fear.
This instrument occurred primarily during the event of soul swapping, wherein many entities in those places were swapped by the Orion entities using their own free will. This occurred specifically during major events which were to occur upon your planet, and the soul swapping or the cloning of powerful people upon your planet happened in order to manipulate your human collective consciousness. This is the fact of the matter that we have noticed. However, the people of your planet have now become aware of this aspect also, and we as the Galactic Federation take the liberty now to leave you...
Okay, so rather than elongating that and to bring this to a close, you've got both high soul swap outs going of key personnel on stage, as well as cloned VIPs. And Hillary is a good example. Elon Musk appears to be a good example. Something about these people have changed in terms of their diameter, their general ovular smooth appearance is much improved over what it had been. And when you look at guys like Putin or Hillary Clinton or Musk, and you can run down the line, Biden, they're wearing advanced masks, they have cloned consciousness from the Greys, with perfectly well substituted. We were told last year this was coming out of the ocean, subsurface. This development goes on with flying saucers that blast out of the water. So it's very advanced. Angels are extraterrestrials, and there's nothing new under the sun. So it's a big rotation of how it goes through the eons of us participating. And we're at a point now, it's a wake-up call to the end of the days as we know them to the beginning of the new day dawning. And people can't seem to handle that because it doesn't conform to their scriptures. So they only see parts of it. And because they only see certain parts, they can't fully become God beings. Because that's what we are. The direct relationship with our Creator is direct. Watch me. I'm Yeshua. You're the viewer. I've accomplished everything I needed to bring you glory on earth. I didn't need the government, and I healed lepers using Dolores Cannon's techniques. I did it on demand when needed on the road because of testimony that must have been made by a fully aware human being who was then, but in verse 22, when he concludes his ministry before his arrest. In verse 22, you, the viewer, can be the elect. It's an innumerable amount of godships that is expressed as 144,000. If you wish to discern it as such, it could be 144. It could be 12 when you go high tribes, but you're a part of it. Somewhere on the do loop, you're a part of it. So you're the elect if you wish to be. And he says, Abun, give them what we have, so that they may be one as we are one. Hey, let's go drink some water and imagine that it tastes like wine. Because if you get the stuff from the Wachita Mountains, crystal, I don't want the price to go up, but I'll just tell you, find mineral water and just thank it for being so precious, every drop accounted for in that bottle, and you express the love of your Creator and you drink that water with joy in your heart because it's living consciousness, it'll be the best drink you've ever had, and then you can have more, and it's wonderful. Just to be fully aware, because that's first density, fifth octave, is what water is. It contains and it is contained. And so the mineral water in selected places that's had exposure to crystal gets a good vote of adamantine, consumption. It's complementary to sunlight in terms of awareness and consciousness that you defer to, and then you're like me, because you're led to it. I was led to this place where Dolores Cannon lives. I'm only 20 miles from where her mainstay was. Then I went down to Miami right before the pandemic hit. And I'm the guy. If anybody watches this from my classmates, I'm the guy that yelled out John 17:22. When the light came on for me at that QHHT Live as to what was actually happening, because I went there, I had to quit smoking cigarettes, and Jesus kind of helped the lepers somehow this way. And now I know a lot more about the progress of what Dolores Cannon accomplished without forgetting Yeshua. But her, Dolores Cannon, Andromedian, queen of the constellation there, just by teaching her fellows, hey, wake up's coming, love everybody, be nice to everybody, have joy in your heart, and it's going to come. When we get together and do it, we're going to do it. So then our Creator said, okay, past Orion, back check, past all the Dracos, who probably that day went, wah, 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 wah. That was scary. What happened? But it's quantum. And the vibe came back because it's a catalyst of love in your heart that we have now. So there's no reason to fear anything. And the awareness that I just described equals the Dracos are coming. The abductions have happened. People are trying to wake up. I see girls on YouTube that are still struggling. They come out of the SSP as horrified victims, and they're still can't seem to get it. Like, they draw cartoons and they're getting it, but they're not getting it because they're throwing the man in the middle. They're throwing the man in the middle. And it's okay to do it, but you have to do it correctly. Be like him. Be with him. That's what he tried to tell everybody. Give them what we have. And you have it. He had it. And he's amazing. So be astounded. And don't be in poverty, like Thomas said. So watch Sam the Illusionist. Watch me. Watch the First Wave crowd. You'll know them. You know them. They're test pilots for you. So don't be afraid of anything. Just learn to love everything. It's a learned behavior of what? Hillary did what? They did who? What? We did, huh? Obama? Michael, huh? Baphomet, huh? Who? You're over it now. Okay. Bats flap with radar in the bat cave, and they come out at night, and they end up latching onto something. Bats do. So they got all the advanced stuff with their radar feeling their way around. Obviously, that's special equipment. Bats. And they're blood drinkers. Hanging upside down at night. So there. I heard that George Bush observed 9/11 from the Rockefeller Center roof. And there you go. That's where it's supposed to have been observed from. We need pictures of that. Someone must have taken pictures of George H.W. Bush on the Rockefeller Center to observe 9/11. I mean, we can go now and see what that perch looks like, and I will bet you something. I'm going to go looking. So I encourage you to be awake. Stop watching and believing in this garbage that people are going to die over, because the earth is going to send us a message, and souls out and souls in. So be not afraid and enjoy your time. If you wish to ascend as a human, the guidance is there, and it's not confusing. You got to go vegan. I do lacto-ovo, because there's no moving consciousness projected out of that. Cheese, eggs, etc. If you wish to live quantum, that's the guidance, and it's logical and reasonable to move us to prana way down the road. And I'm saying it almost seamlessly because it's down there. Instead of Dolores Cannon, she's not in my church. She's a woman. Too big to burn, that woman. And if you did, I'll tell you what, there'd be no reason. He took it all on. That guy took it all on. They took Barabbas. Barabbas was a rebel, Second Temple. Rome, if you think you're going to be in this temple, I got a knife. It's Barabbas in a nutshell. Bearded. Freaking, he's up for grabs, and they let him go. Caiaphas coached everybody. Hey, we got to get rid of this other guy. You know? And they did it. So if you were an audience member, you had an opinion that was managed by Caiaphas, the media master, of look what he did on the Sabbath. He healed somebody. Whatever they say he did. Besides the flip out in the Second Temple. The banks, whoop! Rothschilds got dumped all over the ground, and then he went to the stables and released all the animals. Said, hey, get out. And they all looked at him and said, what are you doing? You're the Elvis. You're the guy that comes here and sings to everybody in the words of the coal to the diamonds. Why are you doing this? And he told them all, father of lies, you're pointed in the wrong direction. You're children of Belial, and you worship the 440. The money and the death. That's your existence that you recurrently. So, we got money. Do we not? Coming out of Solomon and all that wisdom. So dark is dark, and we're children of the light. And therefore, be enlightened. Meditate. Drink water. Thank it. Forgive yourself. You vote. They do bad stuff. Elect yourself. John 17:22. Be one. Be fearless. Death is a lie. They may come with the guillotines. I believe they've been purchased and are prepositions for use. So there may be some that exit the stage that way, should they choose it. It shouldn't happen anymore. It happened in the French Revolution. It's a recurring harvest that has been organized. And Russia and the Ukraine are phase one, with the Easter swoop bringing way, shapes, and forms, ladies and gentlemen. The angels are talking about the earth being shaken in the coming days. And we're less than a month from Easter Sunday, so there's a window, and Christ consciousness is amongst us. Okay, so that's the good news. And you have a choice of how you wish to participate now. As an audience member watching TV, therefore being subject to the results of it, or taking your power back, understanding as an ascended master that you're meant to be here, and you be aware of everything that's happening for yourself, because you're getting it back. You had it already, so you're getting it back. Now, you still have made a choice, whether you know it or not, so have no fear, because a viewer of this video, or more than one, will be in an angelic realm in a relatively short term. Family members, whomever. It must all come to pass with the transformation that's going to happen. So if you can't stand on your own 2 feet in anticipation of this, have a barbecue, Kentucky Fried Chicken it up, and Memorial Day that tombstone that you pay your life insurance for. That will continue to legacy for a period, but the last disincarnation of a human is in 90 years. So that's relatively, I mean, I'm 62, so that's a third of the way forward. Twice my current age. But we have 1,000 years divine inheritance coming. So a 90-year shutdown of death is like, okay, now we're going. And everybody will be where they're supposed to be. And the ones that died greedy will be with Prince Philip on Max 064, or another story of such ongoing action in a cross-level, not new earth transfer of consciousness that we will rise above, because we've gotten our t-shirts and we love everything. And there must be a level of disappointment that others will not be with us in the same way. Call it never again. From man, if you'd only do it this other way, you could be part of the meditation of the reliving everything and go in crystalline grid. They're not ready for that yet. And it's those that walk amongst us. But you can do some proximity calculations based upon who's near the next big problem. Not necessarily, like, let's just say that you live in the Philippines and the caldera west of the Philippines, east of the Philippines goes. And it's the whole family of Naga that's going boom, like Lemuria coming back. The Earth's geography is going to change significantly, and I'm not suggesting the Philippines will be such a place. All I'm saying is, if you're in the midst of something cataclysmic that occurs, that's your opportunity. Please hear this. Last year, this has not gone away. Our Creator was given in the story of angelic resonance, because they know how our Creator perceives things. There was a painting contest about the perfect situation, and the Creator was asked to, hey, what's the favorite in terms of what you want to see? So this is the one true Creator speaking now. There was the beautiful picture of the 4:32 sunset, post everything, good to go. And there was the absolute chaos of the world crumbling in every direction that you know of. And you're in the middle of it as a mother bird with baby birds that are flapping around, tweeting, and having a great day. And our Creator chose that picture of the future, because what she wants, Abwoon, the absolute father who wrote the book of everything, programmatically speaking, wants a truther to go, huh, that's really happening all around me. And whether it's the coyote and roadrunner of the last 15 seconds of, oh, here I go, or it's all happening around me and it just is intended to happen, and the sunrise will come the next day after the storm. That's what's going to sort of happen to the planet. And so don't fear it, and be with it, and rise above it, because that's where we're destined to go. Have another great day.